Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Sunday preview article. In particular, there are just so many new releases for Warhammer Underworlds. I think it'd be useful, especially as, this isn't an established Warhammer Underworlds channel. Maybe I'm enticing a few of you to try and give it a look. So to kind of talk through what the releases are and what they mean and what you need to buy and what you don't need to buy. So there's loads, right? There's two brand new warbands: the Jaws of Itzel, a Seraphon Strike warband, Grandfather's Gardeners, a Plague Bearer's Mastery warband, and one thing I want to say right from the start, in case people turn off the video quickly, you don't need to keep. It's not like it used to be. You don't need to buy these infinite packs of models just to keep competitive with the game. If you don't like the plastic miniatures, don't buy the box of plastic miniatures. It's really good. There are two new Rivals decks, so this brings the total number of Rivals decks in the game to 6. 4 in the core set, plus 2 more. 16 reprinted teams, so we've covered these in detail before. 4 boxes of 4 teams per box. These are all old models from the previous edition of Warhammer Underworlds, with reprinted cards from the previous edition that come inside the box. And then, if you want to buy them separately, you can buy the cards for those 16 reprinted teams if you already have the models. So let's go through in a little bit more detail. So the first one we got is the Jaws of Itzel. So I talked about these when they were first previewed a little bit, but it's 3 Seraphon fellas. One, obviously the kind of albino leader Seraphon there with a bigger club and a bigger shield. 2 regular Saurus warriors, and then a base full of like an iguana. It seems like a snake. Seems like a mini Little Easter Island head or something. I'll read the fluff from Warcom. So, the primal might of the Seraphon comes to Warhammer Underworlds in the jaws of the Itzel. Separated from their cold-blooded cohort and Slan's Star Master by a cave-in, this band of Saurus warriors and accompanying critters act part through bloodthirsty instinct. Act partly through bloodthirsty instinct? Warcom? Act part through bloodthirsty instinct, and in part through sporadic telepathic commands by their Star Master. Does make sense, it just was a bit... yeah. As a strike warband, they excel at hitting hard and fast, their scaled armour and savage weapons making them resilient and dangerous in equal measure. So this is it's basically an elite warband. So first of all, for those of you who don't know, in Warhammer Underworlds, the maximum size of warband is 7, right? So 7 is a horde. So if you consider the Sepulchral Guard that I've been playing recently, they are 7, and it will never go above 7 ever, because printed on the map you have deployment hexes, and there are 7 in each territory for you to deploy on. So 7 is the hard cap, 7 is the max. The smallest warband we've seen so far has been 3 models, the Stormcast Eternals, that came in the starter box. So that's like 3 model elite is a thing. 3 models is tricky because the way this works is you don't get to activate all your miniatures every turn. You get to do 4 activations per turn. But with an elite team, there are certain things in certain situations that you can double up on. So essentially, your only really limit is that you can only charge with a model once, unless you've charged with all of your models, and then you can... Sorry, you can only charge with the model once, full stop. Once you've charged, you can no longer move or fight with that model, unless you've charged with all your models, and you can move and fight with the model that's charged. So having less than 4 is definitely a choice. So these guys are interesting because you got 3, like, it's going to be an elite warband with like a little critter. So that's cool. I think the models look okay, but Mrs. T.I. thinks they're really cool because Seraphon is like her thing. For Age of Sigmar, that's like her thing that she picks to really enjoy. So we're buying this. She's going to pivot away from the... She never really wanted to play the Skaven. Literally, she agreed to assemble the Skaven because I was itching to get some games in with the core box. Neither of us actually like either of the teams in the core box particularly well. You've got to remember as well, like, your team... Your warband in Underworlds is a relatively minor part of what you're playing. It's a weird one. You're kind of really... The main thing that's going to change how you play is the objective cards in your deck. like, it's not the Underworld, your team doesn't matter, it does. Obviously, they do have some key abilities and they do play in a certain way, but it's quite light touch. So we're going to pick these up for Mrs. TI because she's looking to pivot away from the Skaven and towards these. And honestly, more so than any other game. I mean, this is what people like me who are laid back and realistic players of Warhammer always say, but more so than any other game, like, just if I've managed to entice you into wanting to try this game, just first of all buy the Emberguard box because you need the cardboard in there to play the game, right? And then if neither of those teams appeal to you, just pick a team that appeals to you and acquire it, right? And so depending on what you like, if you like Skaven or Stormcast, you just need to buy the starter box. If you like these, you need to buy the starter box plus these. If you like the one we're going to look at next, you need to buy that. And if you like one of the older teams, it gets a bit more tricky. But just don't bother thinking about how they play or what they do, just because the deck changes so much of that. Just get the miniatures that you enjoy and want to paint. And that's the way. That is the way. So the other team they're releasing is Grandfather's Gardeners, who look like a mid-sized team. Oh, I should say, sorry, I forgot to mention it. Where I've said here, these are a strike warband. Remember, in Warhammer Underworlds, I have tried to explain this before, there are 4, I guess I'm going to call them archetypes. I can't remember what their actual verbiage is. They don't do anything in rules terms, okay? But both of the teams and the decks have an archetype out of strike, flex, mastery, and the defensive one. I forget the proper name for it. But there's attack, defend, flex, which lets you flex between attack and defend, and mastery, which introduces some weird extra mechanics, essentially. So you know what kind of warband you're buying to fit how you're going to play. So right now, when we're playing, Mrs. TI is playing the Skaven, they're flex, okay, and they go with the flex deck. They don't have to, but it's like, unless you're a slightly more experienced player and know what you're doing, they recommend that you pair like the type of team you have into the type of deck you have, right? And so that's another way you can see, before you've had a full like read through of the rules or whatever, you can kind of see what team might appeal to you, which is cool. Yeah, so Grandfather's Gardeners are a mastery warband, so they're going to try and do something tricky and funny and interesting. I think mastery warbands, from what I've been able to piece together, generally, like the mastery warband and the mastery deck, are more complicated, more cognitive load, right? These models don't interest either of us. I mean, they're quite cool. I quite like a Nurgle thing, but neither of us really want to play these guys. And I really enjoy, like, in contrast to the previous version of Underworlds, I feel utterly no compulsion to buy these, utterly no compulsion to like collect all of the little warbands, because they don't come with, unless I want to play them, I don't need to buy them, which is really refreshing. Alright? Good. I'll read the thing because it's fun. Rot finds its way into all corners of the mortal realms, and the sweltering tunnels beneath Emberguard are fertile ground for the roots of the garden of Grandfather Nurgle to take hold, especially under the watchful gaze of the Grandfather's Gardeners, a gaggle of dour-faced and green-thumbed plague-bearers. They plod inexorably into combat at the whims of the ever-turning cycle of decay, weathering incoming blows with ease. This mastery warband is governed by the cycle, their abilities and damage output keying off the constant ebb and flow. So, sounds interesting. Sounds a bit challenging to use properly. It's not for either of us, so we're going to skip this release. But they're pretty cool models. I like that. It's like 3 medium-sized guys. It looks like 1 really powerful boss guy and a fly. Well, it looks pretty cool. So then we got 2 new decks. Now I do feel a compulsion to buy the decks. Right, this is just something that's wrong with my brain. Okay. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to put them in all kinds of little sleeves that I have left over from when I used to play Magic the Gathering. I've decided I'm not going to actually go out and spend loads of money getting custom sleeves for all the decks, right? I'm just going to use whatever I've got. If some of them end up sleeved up in Pokemon sleeves, then so be it, right? But I feel like I have to buy these on release because historically Games Workshop has really sucked at keeping any product that was 100% cardboard in stock and not just doing a one and done print run. So I literally am buying these out of fear. Now, you know, Mrs. TI wants to pick up the Lizardmen, and they're a strike team, so they get a strike deck. Now, will it have been designed to especially work with the Lizardmen? You know, they've brought out a strike and a mastery deck alongside a strike and a mastery team, which is cool. But I think that, like, it'll be nice for her to have two different strike decks to play through and choose from. Whereas I'm pivoting to a flex team in the Crimson Court, so I'm going to start off playing with the flex deck with them. But, like, the whole point of flex is apparently you can use the offensive and the defensive decks as well, so that's cool. Will anyone actually know how to use the mastery deck? Maybe eventually. I'm genuinely just going to buy it out of completeness for now. So let's read the text. Accompanying the two warbands and the two rivals decks matching their playstyles, Reckless Fury embodies the strike archetype, tasking players with accumulating and manipulating challenge tokens as they invade enemy territory. Rack and Ruin is a mastery deck which requires players to use positioning in the treacherous depths of Embergard to set up traps and score big from leading opponents to terrible fates. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then we're getting the reprinted teams. I'm not going to go through all of these. I've already done a video when they first previewed this product, going through it very briefly. What they've done is they've selected 16 of the teams that were released for the previous edition of the game to be reprinted. They're reprinting them in boxes of 4 teams for each Grand Alliance, right? So now, in the box is everything you need to play all 4 teams, so it comes with the cards and the miniatures, which is nice. But it does mean if you like precisely one of these teams, you are stuck having to buy a box with 4 teams in, which I can only imagine is going to be about 60 quid, right, for the box. Just because of how much they're obviously going to want to sell the individual teams for. I can't imagine them being less than the starter set was. We'll see. Like, the prices on this one's going to be really interesting. It sort of sucks. If you want to get into this game and you look at it and you go, I really like the Chaos Warriors because they're really cool, right? Khagars, Reavers, or whatever they're called. You pick those up. You have to buy the box with the 4 Chaos teams in. But what I would say is have a look on Facebook groups, have a look on eBay. Do you know, these boxes come with everything you need to play all 4 teams. There are bound to be people who are buying it and then trying to trade or split or sell some of the teams that they're not interested in. So, like, bear that in mind. I do think it's the only fly in the oil. I'm going hard on Underworlds a little bit because I think it's a really fun little game. But I will admit that it is the biggest stumbling block I think they have for getting new players in is if you don't like Plague Bearers. Well, you know, there's tiers. Like, everybody has to buy the starter box. So if you don't like Skaven or Stormcast, you have to get over that mentally in your head that you're buying a thing and you don't want the miniatures in it. And for me, it's fine. It's not that I have loads of money, it's that I don't think spending 60 quid for, you know, I view it as buying the rule set, right? Like, you're buying the rule set. The purchase of the core box is you're paying for the time for developing the game. Now, some people firmly believe that when miniatures are involved, the rules should be free. And stuff like that, but so your mileage may vary. I don't mind that so much, but if you don't like those teams, you've got to buy that. And then here comes another product where you're being asked to buy miniatures that you potentially don't want to get the miniatures that you do want. And I do understand that sucks. You know, I think going forwards, where literally, if what you lust in your heart for is Plague Bearers, you just buy the Plague Bearers, and then away you go. You don't need to buy any more miniatures, aside from the 2 teams in the starter set, right? But it becomes a lot more interesting that way, all right? So I do acknowledge that that's a problem. Happily, the only team out of all of these that I really think are really cool and would really want to play are the Crimson Court. I already have them on a shelf behind me, so I don't need to buy any of these, right? Which is nice. But if you are in that situation, like, try and split and sell and do stuff to get the teams that you want, if that's the way you want to do it, right? Now, so what I do need to buy, the plot thickens, is the cards for the reprinted teams, right? And yeah, it sucks having to buy a deck of quite a few cards to get the 5, right? The 4 fighter cards for the vampires plus the big card for the vampires. The 5 cards that I want is a bit annoying. A lot of people have said, couldn't they have given these away for free as PDFs in the same way that they gave away the sort of other set of ones where we got the Sepulchral Guard and a bunch of others that I've covered in a previous video. Yes, but also actually, even if they were free online, I'd probably still buy the card pack because it's a card game. And as much as I did print off the Sepulchral Guard cards and use PVA glue and cereal box cardboard to manufacture some cards that I wanted to use in the game, like, it's not a beautiful tactile experience. I would probably much rather have actual cards. So I don't mind. Like, I understand it's never going to be economically viable for them to sell 5 pieces of cardboard in a packet, right? Because whatever they're going to sell that for to make a profit is going to be too much for what it is. So by bundling them together like this, hopefully this comes in at under £20, right? And then pick it up and go for it again. If you have these miniatures and you might want to play Underworlds, I don't think this product is going to stay in stock for a very long time. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think this product is going to stay in stock for a very long time, okay? If you are in the UK and you are after the cards for one of these teams that isn't the Crimson Court, then potentially hit me up on the Discord and we can get you the cards that way. So if you're like, oh, I'm interested in this team and I've got some models sitting around at home from the previous edition of Underworlds, maybe we can sort something out that way. Now, I'll read the text because it's interesting. It does say, if you've got all the above warbands, or most of them, then you can get the Fighter and War Scroll cards for all 16 of the warbands in the Ember Guard set. These cards differ slightly to those contained within the 4 boxes above, with the photography of the warbands on the reverse of the War Scroll card. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was a printing error. Like, the ones in the core box have a picture of the warband on the reverse of the War Scroll card. Like, the correct thing is for them to have a picture of the warband on the reverse of the War Scroll card. I don't know if the cards in the big boxes are secretly defective in some way. Like, having that picture on the reverse of the card is pretty irrelevant to your life. You don't need it to be there, right? But it's supposed to be there. So I really interested to see some unboxings now, just because I'm intrigued to see what the reverse of the War Scroll cards look like from the big boxes as opposed to from the card deck. It's a weird sentence, Games Workshop. And that's it. That's my video for today. As you can probably tell, 2 videos on the Trotter Underworlds. I'm really enjoying it. I've played 2 games now. I might even play tomorrow night, because we got so much quicker in our second game and we understand the rules a lot more. It's a really, really like, there are moments where you want to slow down and stare at the board, but there's much less pondering already in this than there is for me in Kill Team, because there are so many fewer things that you can do, and all the information is known, right? That when you're playing on a hex grid, there's never a case where you put a miniature somewhere and there's a charge that you didn't see, unless you're just ignorant of the move stats of your opponent. But as you come to learn how fast their guys can go and pay attention to what your opponent can do, you have all the information at a glance, and it's all pretty straightforward. So that's nice. I still think Kill Team is a better game, and it's the game that I want to focus on in the main. Like I alluded to before, I'm going to try and focus on a real trifecta of skirmish games on the channel. I'm going to try and be like Kill Team, Underworlds, and also Star Wars Shatterpoint, because they do something for me which I think is really interesting, in that they scratch 3 different itches. But the really nice thing about this game, about Underworlds, is just it is the easiest game Games Workshop have ever made to actually just sit down and play. You just get the board, you open it, you play. You don't need to do anything with terrain. You don't need to look at map packs. You don't need to put markers out. You don't need to measure anything. You don't need to do anything. You just play. It takes an hour and you're done. Right? Hopefully, I've enticed a couple of you to care about it. Not because I am paid by Games Workshop. Not because I derive any profit from you buying Underworlds. I mean, if you use the Element Games link in the description, and I hope that if you are pre-ordering any of this stuff, you will consider doing that. Yes, I derive a little bit of kickback that way, but I could promote literally any product that Element Games sell and make the same money. The reason that I'm trying to go quite so hard on it now around launch is simply because if I can get a few more of my audience to buy in and to care, then that means I get to keep making videos about it without this kind of nagging feeling that I'm just stabbing my channel in the heart. And whilst, as I've said in one of my comments recently, this is not and never will be my job, it always makes you feel a bit sad when a number goes down instead of up, right? So, Kill Team content will return. It's not the end of Kill Team, okay, at all, right? I need to do some stuff talking about Worlds. Worlds is at the end of this week, and I need to talk about Kill Team Worlds, and I also need to try and find out about the Underworlds Worlds, because I think there's Underworlds Worlds. Is there Underworlds? If you're an Underworlds head and you know about Underworlds Worlds, let me know as well, so because I want to have a look at that. If you're ordering any of this, especially if I successfully enticed you into giving Underworlds a go, let me know. I'll be overjoyed. Because I don't want to come off as someone that's just being relentlessly toxically positive, because I have definitely been accused of being one time, but I obviously taken it to heart. I do think the way that the legacy teams are being packaged and sold is annoying. Right, and like all of Games Workshop starter sets, you need to buy the starter set to play the game, really, and if you don't like either of the two teams in the starter set, it feels a waste of money. But you say the same thing about Hivestorm, right, and we all play Kill Team. You say the same thing about, any 40k big box, right? So that's no never mind, but I do think the way that they've handled the whole legacy teams being bundled and the cards being bundled is kind of annoying. Honestly, if you're new, and if you can bring yourself to play Skaven, or Stormcast, or Plague Bearers, or Seraphon, just pick one of those. It's going to be easier for you. But I am really aware that there'll be a cohort of people I know, because I'm one of them, that think those are 4 weird choices for the first 4 teams. Give me my Undead guys, give me some Cities of Sigmar, give me some, badass Chaos Warriors. Those are the parts of Age of Sigmar that really interest me. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that idea. Right, this is far enough rambling for what was essentially a Sunday preview video, so I hope you enjoyed it. I will try and get another video out on Monday. Honestly, I'm just a bit burnt out on those Kill Team faction reviews, because they're taking 1,000 years. They legitimately take a long time to put together. So, but they will return. I will get through them. It is going to happen. And I will do something else tomorrow that will probably be Kill Team related. Unless Warcom drops some more news, it is what it is. Alright guys, have a good one. See you next time. Cheery, 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 cheery. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye. Goodbye. Bye. Bye.